What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Empire State of Ball. I'm your host, Caesar LaFontaine, and today we got a special video for you guys. We got a 2025 NBA mock draft. As you guys know, the draft lottery recently just wrapped up this Monday, and the Mavs got the first pick, the Spurs got the second pick, and the Sixers got the third pick. So today we will be predicting and we sort of know what type of order the NBA draft will go, but once we get later inside of the rounds, that's when things start to mix up. So, beginning this 2025 NBA mock draft, we are actually going to be doing this simulation on Fanspo. Pretty popular website if you don't know, but Fanspo is a great website if you guys want to make your own mock draft. Highly recommend it. And with the first pick of the 2025 NBA mock draft, the Dallas Mavericks select obviously Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag is a great player, as you guys know. He turns 19 in December, which I mean that's just immaculate if you're an NBA team wanting to draft him right now, but he can evolve into something great. And I mean, him with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, if you get that team a point guard, I mean, Western Conference Finals, look out. We have the San Antonio Spurs with the second overall pick, and they're going to be selecting Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is not the best fit with San Antonio, as they have two guards already, one that just won Rookie of the Year in Stephon Castle, and the other one who they just traded for in the middle of the year, an all-star, former all-star, De'Aaron Fox. But, you know, Dylan Harper, he's not going to bring a lot of shooting to this Spurs team, and you're wondering why would that even fit? Dylan Harper can come off the bench, give you a spark off the bench that you probably can't find in the free agent market or the trade market. But great downhill finisher, standing at I think around 6'5" with shoes, maybe 6'6" with shoes, but great downhill finisher, and he's gonna be good pairing with anybody on the bench that Dylan Harper can play with, guys like Sohan and people like that. You don't have to start this player, Dylan Harper, as soon as you gets to the league. Great pick right there. Great odds. I mean, for San Antonio. Next, we have the Philadelphia 76ers, and I mean, there's only one place they can really go. As you see, they have Tyrese Maxey, they have Jared McCain, they have Quentin Grimes. You really don't want to add another guard, even though the Spurs just did it the last pick. And you don't want to add somebody like VJ Edgecombe to start. I mean, he would be a perfect fit for this team as well. But with a guy like Ace Bailey, his floor on this team is way higher, I think, than any other team. I mean, all he really has to do is just shoot the ball. And that's what he loves doing. Obviously, we know he's a high, above the rim finisher. But Ace Bailey definitely likes shooting his shots, getting his shots up, and he can do that on this team. He's not looking to put the ball on the floor. That's what the other guys are there for. So with the number 3rd overall pick, Ace Bailey will be selected by the Philadelphia 76ers. The Hornets did not have the best luck in the lottery, as we know, but they still ended up with a top 4 player. And after those top 3, usually guys will say, oh, there's a little bit of a drop off. But I think VJ Edgecombe can be very, very good for this Charlotte Hornets team. And I mean, 6'5", unreal athlete. He averaged 15 points on a team where Baylor had Robert Wright and who else? Jeremy Roach. So 2 other ball handlers. He was playing the 3 in college, and I mean, he's a great on-ball defender. He can fly high, get dunks, and he's just gonna be great with LaMelo Ball, as he can be the primary defender on any guard in the NBA. With the 5th overall pick, the Utah Jazz definitely did not have the best luck in the draft lottery. They were the worst team in the NBA. Hate to see it, but they ended up with the 5th pick. Right here, I think, even though they do have Isaiah Collier, who looked like a solid point guard in this league, and Keontae George, they also have Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson. I think Trey Johnson has to be the move here. He's just an electric scorer, and he averaged 19 points for most of the year. He was almost at 20 for a good section of the year, and he's incredibly efficient in the mid-range. I mean, he's looking to be like one of those guys that if you find him in the mid-range and if you give him the ball, it's most likely going to end up in a bucket. So he's just a dynamic scorer. He's not the smallest, so you can play him at these other guard spots, maybe forward a little bit in his future, but you can maybe mold him into a great defender too. So yeah, even though he's not the best in terms of passing or anything else other than scoring, he can develop into a great scorer in today's league. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has the first 30-point game of these rookies so far. The Washington Wizards, and the Wizards are in a tough spot because they're actually doing things very well as soon as new management came in. They've been drafting very well. As we saw last year, they had Alex Sarr and Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George. So they're moving in the right direction. And with this team, you definitely want I don't know if Bub Carrington is your point guard of the future. He might be the two guard. He's not the best on the ball, even though he's still dynamic. So I think you want to have somebody who can get these players into the best role that they can be and give Alex Sarr a good lob threat. So Kasparis Yakuchionis out of Illinois will go with the 6th overall pick. He's the best passer in the draft so far. So yeah, I mean, he's, as we saw in March Madness, he has a lot of turnovers to assist ratio. So he had about 4 turnovers with 5 assists in his final game. So definitely something to work on, but what better place to do it other than Washington? I mean, that's the perfect place to mess up and figure things out. 7th overall pick, the New Orleans Pelicans. If you look at this team right now, they have DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, and Herb Jones at those top front court positions. So going with a guard like Con Knuppel or Jeremiah Fears is not the most smart move in terms of future when you have Zion, and Zion is better with the ball in his hands rather than without. He turns into a dynamic player with the ball in his hands. So I think giving him another center, Yves Missi, who they drafted last year, right here, he's an amazing player, but he might not be the starting center of the future for this team. So, I mean, getting a guy, you can't teach 7'2", Kaman Maluach out of Duke. He's shown some flashes to hit a three-pointer now and there, but he's a great shot blocker, a great lob threat, a great finisher around the rim. So that and Yves Missi, I think you have your starting center or your center core for the next couple years. And Zion, if he can stay healthy, this team will significantly improve on the defensive end because Kaman Maluach is a presence down low. With the 8th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets weren't dealt the best hand as they try to ethically tank, win a couple games here and there, but they still ended up with the 8th overall pick. And I mean, for the Nets, they definitely have to go with a home run swing right here, because going with a guy that's is going to be good but not that good, you got to go with the person that you think can turn into the next top 10 player in the league. They will go with Derek Queen out of Maryland. I mean, he showed some amazing flashes as a rebounder and offensive threat. He can handle the ball. He can pass a little bit. I believe in his passing ability. But Derek Queen is one of the best centers in this draft other than Maluach. He could possibly be somebody like a Nikola Jokic or Domantas Sabonis, where you can run your offense through him, and he doesn't have to be a center. He is 6'9", 6'10", around there, but he can play. I think he can play a little bit of 4, a little bit of 5. So definitely somebody who has a major potential limit. But if you miss with Derek Queen, then it's not going to be looking good in a draft class like this. So they have to swing for the fences right here with the 8th overall pick. And the Toronto Raptors are in a very very weird position in my opinion, because they have a bunch of forwards that do everything. I mean, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, he's not a forward, but he is a point guard that they did just trade for and extend. They just traded for Brandon Ingram. They have Scotty Barnes. I had them taking Kaman Maluach at this pick, but obviously things didn't work out their way, and he got taken earlier by the Pelicans in this mock draft. So right here, I think they'll go with a guard, because they still have Pirtle. They be playing Scotty Barnes at center for a lot of the season. So I think they're going to go Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma, who is a good point guard. He could be the dynamic point guard that everybody sleeps on in a couple years. I mean, he's still 19. He's super young. He shoots threes from deep. So if this pick works out for them, they're going to be looking really, really scary in the next couple years. Next, we have the Houston Rockets with the 10th overall pick from the Phoenix trade. So, I mean, they chose Reed Shepherd last year, which didn't really work out. He still has a lot of time to develop, but you still want to get somebody who has the highest floor possible, where you might not see this guy be a great player in this league, but you got to say, oh, we're going to take a solid role player, one of those guys that hit a couple threes in a game 5, that put a pivotal game 5 to help you win a series. And I think that guy can be Con Canupo out of Duke. He shot 52% on three-pointers for most of this season. So with Jalen Green possibly on his way out, we don't know where he stands right now, but you know, Con Canupo could be a starting guard in the NBA for a good while, I would say. He's good off the ball. He's good on the ball. He can create for himself. Great pick for the Houston Rockets at number 10. We have the Portland Trailblazers, and you know, this team, I think they're going to get rid of Anthony Simons, but you know, I think you want Scoot Henderson to have the ball. After last year, he had a kind of a bounce back year, and Denny Avdija had a great year last year too. So I don't know if you really want to stack too many guards in this position. But in terms of forwards, you don't know how long Robert Williams is going to be there. You don't know how long DeAndre Ayton is going to be there, or Jeremy Grant. So I have them taking this guy, Noah Essengay from France, can be a real problem for the Portland Trailblazers, standing at 6'8", but you definitely can develop him into your prototype player. With the next pick, we have the Chicago Bulls, and so I have them taking not a center, actually. I have them taking a power forward, but you know, this team definitely wanted to take a guy like Derek Queen or Maluach, but you know, there's not too many centers in this draft. So I have them taking a guy from Georgia, 6'11", Asa Newell from Georgia, played at Montverde with Cooper Flagg. He's a pretty good forward/center. I think he can be a good forward in the NBA. He could be a great middleman in this Chicago group. The Atlanta Hawks with the 13th overall pick, and they started Muhammad. This guy, he started a playoff game for them. And Jalen Johnson obviously is coming back from injury this season too, but I think they can have the potential to have a top 2 defender combo in the NBA, because Dyson Daniels is already a great defender. But I think if they add Carter Bryant to this team and he fills out where he's supposed to, 6'8", super lengthy, and even though he doesn't average that many points, 6.5 points at Arizona on about 19 minutes a game, this guy doesn't need to do too much on offense when you have Trae Young on your team and all you have to do is cut. Next, the rich get richer. How greedy of the San Antonio Spurs to have the 14th overall pick. Last time we had them taking Dylan Harper. Right now, I have them taking, I think, a perfect fit for Colin Murray Boyles to go to the San Antonio Spurs. He's a 6'7" forward. He plays like a center. And what does Wemby play like? He plays like a power forward, even though they both play different positions. Wemby is more, I think, you want Wemby to be more of an outside threat, inside threat. More on the outside, though, because why have a 7'5" guy shoot threes if you're not going to let him shoot threes? So Colin Murray Boyles can guard 1 through 5. He's a terrific defender. The only thing is he just really, you don't know if he can shoot or not. He's a terrific defender, great rebounder, can even pass a little bit. So I think that pairing with Wemby, he could be a starter day one of the NBA season. The Oklahoma City Thunder. And this one right here is a little tie-up for me because they could easily go Yegor Demon, who is the perfect pick that they love to pick for this type of team style. But they did pick Nikola Topic last year. Yegor Demon can't really shoot like that. But I think Rasheer Fleming is going to be the pick here at number 15. The Magic desperately needs shooting. With the 16th overall pick, they definitely need a shooter. And I think Jace Richardson just is the perfect combo to go with Jalen Suggs. I mean, both of them play on ball and off ball. Jace Richardson is a pretty good shooter. He's not the best in terms of defense, but that's why you have a guy like Jalen Suggs backing him up. Next, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves are coming off a Western Conference Finals at least. Right now, they're in the Western Conference Finals. They really don't need a lot. I would say they just need somebody to fill in for Mike Conley when he's not there. And I think that guy can be Yegor Demon. Yegor Demon is a 6'9" point guard. And I'm not saying he's 6'9" and a point guard because he can handle the ball. No, he's a point guard that's good at point guard, but he's just 6'9" on top of that. Him and Jakob Jonas are the top two passers in this league. So Yegor Demon getting on a team like Minnesota, he's 6'9", so you don't really have to play him at point guard, but you can run the offense through him. He will be a great pairing with a guy like Anthony Edwards because he's not the smallest. You can put him on forwards that really can't shoot. Like if you play the Knicks and you have Josh Hart on, or you have Yegor Demon on Josh Hart, I wouldn't really say that's a mismatch other than the rebounding. Next, we're gonna go with the Washington Wizards in the Marcus Smart trade, where Memphis gave up their pick to the Washington Wizards, and originally they took Kasparis Yakutionis. This time I have them taking Thomas Sorber out of Georgetown. I think Alex Sarr is more of a forward in today's league, like an AD or Anthony Davis type of player or a Giannis type of player, where you play him with a center and have Alex Sarr just roaming in the paint, helping around. And Thomas Sorber has a wingspan of about 10 feet. I mean, this guy is absolutely going to be great on the defensive end. He's chunky. He's not the skinniest guy on the world, so he can hold his own, I think, with NBA centers. Standing at 6'10", a little short, but when you have a 7'1" Alex Sarr in helping you from the weak side, I think that could do amazing things for this Washington Wizards team. Next, we have the Brooklyn Nets, and I think they can either go an experienced senior out of Colorado State, Nick Clifford, but I have them taking another guy who is not the most highly. He had a bad start to the season in France. Not a lot of people know about him, but his name is Nolan Traore, who's a pretty good point guard playmaker. I don't know if D'Angelo Russell will be here or be on the Nets for next season. So you definitely need a point guard. I mean, they don't have any point guards on this roster. So getting somebody to play the position next year, he might even be starting most of the year. Next, we have the Miami Heat. It's a little weird. Do they want to restart, or do they want to keep being competitive with Bam and Kel'el Ware? I have them taking a guy in Nick Clifford, which is just the most Heat player of all time. I think it's not the best shooter, but he's definitely ramped it up towards the end of the season. So a guy like Nick Clifford, who's a dynamic defender, he hustles amazingly, and the perfect Miami Heat guy. He's going to be one of those guys that go like, damn, how did the Heat get this guy, another guy like Davion Mitchell or Haywood Highsmith that just come out of the woodworks? the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz with the 21st overall pick. I have them taking Will Riley. He's a very tall shooter. Definitely somebody you want to pair with a guy like Trey Johnson or Isaiah Collier to just knock down shots when you need him to. He had a great season to start at Illinois. He kind of settled down a little bit later, only averaging 43% from the field. But I mean, his first college game, he had about 5 3-pointers. So he's definitely a shooter. The Atlanta Hawks, and I have them taking first. They had Carter Bryant in the earlier picks. I have them taking a guy, Maxime Reynaud, out of Stanford. I think Okongwu is definitely a starting center next year, but getting some help, getting some size. Okongwu only stands at around 6'8", 6'9". Getting a 7'1" senior who's just ready to contribute to an NBA team. Next, we have the Indiana Pacers, as they're in the Western Conference Finals right now. And this team definitely doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. So right now, I think Thomas Bryant is definitely not your center for the future. Getting a guy like Danny Wolf will, I think, unlock this team. You can play him at the 4. He would be a great passer with Miles Turner. I mean, he's a shooter too. He can shoot the ball, and you can even run him at the 5 with a guy like Halliburton and just guns blazing down the floor. You might average 160 points next season. Next, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder definitely don't have a lot of glaring weaknesses, as they took Rasheer Fleming, and I think that was their only need next year. Right now, they just got to go with a safe pick. So I have them taking a very, very safe pick. You don't really know what he is, but he's good at everything. He's a Swiss Army knife, and that is Cedric Coward out of Washington State. He's a senior, 22 years old, just ready to produce for an NBA team. What I would consider him as is like a Christian Brown, in my opinion. Maybe not all there defensively. He shot around 40%, I'm pretty sure, at Washington State. 40, he could shoot, he could rebound. He averaged 7 rebounds at 6'6", which is just amazing. He has unreal length and athleticism. His wingspan is crazy. His hands are very, very big. So I think he could be a good defender. Next, we have the Orlando Magic, and I mean, still they need all the shooting they can get, and I think that starts with a guy like Liam McNeely. Liam McNeely definitely didn't have the best shooting end to the season, but he was one of the most highly touted shooters coming out of high school. And if you could just lock into that, he can put the ball on the floor a little bit, but if you can get him to just lock into his shooting, I think he can really develop on this Magic team and be a pretty solid player, all-around player. Next, we have the Brooklyn Nets. And they already took a point guard and a center. So next, I feel like they just need to take all they can get, all the highest upside players they can get. And I think that starts with a guy like Carter Knox, a 6'6" forward who can shoot the rock. I mean, he looked absolutely amazing in that March Madness run. That was, I think, Elite 8 or at least Sweet 16 for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And they have a back-to-back pick. You just have to go swing for the fensive and go Ben Serif. Ben Serif is a 6'6" playmaker, but at this point, you had 4 picks in the first round. Something has to hit. Next, we have the Boston Celtics. And with Jason Tatum out, Drew Holiday could be traded. Kristaps Porzingis, they probably can't afford him either. You know, this team needs everything right now, and I think that starts with a guy like Edu Thiero, who can just defend. He might not be able to shoot too much, but he can grab rebounds. He could do a bunch of little things that I think this team needs, because Jason Tatum used to do all the little things, and he's not going to be there for the whole year next year, as he is dealing with an ACL tear. So prayers up for Jason Tatum, but they definitely need somebody to replace with his production. And the Phoenix Suns, talk about a dumpster fire. Kevin Durant most likely I would say 99% traded this season. Bradley Beal, I think he's still on the team. Devin Booker most probably will stay on the team. Just having a secure point guard to be with Devin Booker next year is the best move for them. Walter Clayton is that guy. He's a starting guard in the NBA, I believe so right now. Averaged 18.3 points per game in his senior year, but he took them to the national championship, hit some amazing clutch shots. So if you keep him for the long run and you end up making the playoffs, I think him and Devin Booker will be out of this world by the time they get there. Los Angeles Clippers in Norman Powell might be on his way out this year. James Harden, you don't know how much he got left. So this team just needs anything but a center, I would say. Cam Jones, 19.2 points per game out of Marquette this year. 6'5" senior. And if you need scoring, he's the guy you call. Having a guy like that on this team, I think, can get you through some regular season wins. And here is the final mock draft of the first round, as I think this is pretty accurate of how it will go. And I have absolutely no idea what the NBA will look like next year. So that will be concluding the NBA mock draft, 2025 NBA mock draft. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you want more, comment down what videos you want to see. And it's Empire State of Ball checking out. See you guys later.